So the second piece of news that we got here from JT Prime 17's big leak, we just discussed what's going on with the final War for Cybertron trilogy piece with the Beast Wars spin on it. But now we have also our look at what's happening with Studio Series, and we've been talking about it all this week. We've been talking about it all of last month. The Studio Series and its expansion into the 1986 movie. Now, we have a list here of a bunch of other product that's going to be coming, and I'll kind of like amalgam this with also what we've discussed previously. So let's jump into this rumored new figure. So we have two Voyagers here. We got a Voyager Scourge, which is interesting considering that we saw that Cyclonus not too long ago from that listing, and we didn't know the price point for that. Some people were speculating that that was a deluxe, but it could be also a Voyager, that Cyclonus. And then we have here also and this one's really interesting to me, a Voyager Hot Rod. I would have not imagined that they would go with the Voyager scale for a car like Hot Rod. It's very uncommon for the Voyager class to ever be a car. It just doesn't happen there, and especially considering how Studio Series is all about scale and how everyone scales together. I guess they really want Hot Rod to be one of those taller characters, but it's really going to be kind of weird when you're going to have characters like, let's say, Cup or Jazz or Blur that are reported to be deluxes, and then Hot Rod's going to tower over them. The only explanation I could think of is this isn't Hot Rod. It's listed as Hot Rod here, but it might be Rodimus Prime. But then that also leads to what I was discussing before with the Beast Wars segment previous. There's a Leader Class Rodimus Prime with trailer that's going to be part of this, not Earthrise, Kingdom expansion. And I felt that might have been a mistake, and this Leader Class Rodimus Prime with trailer is actually supposed to be part of this 86 Studio Series. So there's still a lot of weird stuff going on here. They mention here that the accessories with the Voyager Hot Rod will have a saw blade and flip down visor like found in the 86 movie. So you'll get those little extra nods to that. And Cup is going to come with some Energon goodies, which is also a nice little nod to his Sharkticon scene there, or the Alicon scene. And the last one here that we have a Leader Class, and this one made me chuckle for a very specific reason. Leader Class Slag, Dinobot Slag with Daniel. Now, and the Daniel supposedly is going to come with the exosuit. Now, Daniel and Leader Class Slag have never had a connection, but this podcast is a Daniel with a Slag. And I don't know the legitimacy of this. I don't know if it's Hasbro internal giving a nod to the podcast. I don't know what that is, but I do find it kind of funny. What I do find interesting about this, though, is the use of the name Slag, because they've kind of avoided using that name since about, I want to say, 2007, 2008. They started calling the character Slug, and just, there's a whole bunch of censorship reasons, because in the UK, Slag means something very differently than it does here. And I guess it's either they're returning to form and they're going to call it Slag again because they don't care about the international market, or this is just early preliminary names, much like how I think that Voyager Hot Rod is probably a Rodimus. But again, this is all really early loose information, and now that we add this to that Leader Class Grimlock and Wheelie that we saw all those months back, the Gnaw that we saw that was listed with it, now the Cup, the Jazz, the Blur, we're really starting to shape up this indication of what this future 86 Studio Series expansion is probably going to be. And assuming that Cyclonus that we saw too is also part of it. There's just a lot of questions to be asked, but we still don't know enough yet to kind of come to any conclusions. But I still find it hilarious that there's a Leader Class Slag that comes with a Daniel. And again, those characters, just there's no reason for them to be together unless it's kind of like a little, tip of the hat to a certain podcast. And again, I know people at Hasbro, so I just have a feeling it has something to do with that. But But yeah, hey, this is hilarious. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you think about all of this. If this is something to take seriously, if this is to be taken with a grain of salt. I mean, we're getting all this leaked information with no confirmations, and when we do get confirmations, it's super small. I remember like when we talked about hubcap all those months back, and then it took like 3 months before we finally had any indication of a hubcap toy, and it was a leaked image that wasn't even officially from Hasbro, and we still don't even have an official statement from Hasbro about hubcap. So it's kind of crazy how long we might have to wait before we even learn if any of this is legit, or we're just gonna have stolen toys and that'll be the only way we know any of this is legit. Let me know what you think about this, and again, hopefully you come tonight to the Transformer Slag live stream on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the little bell. That way you get a notification for when we go live. It'll be me and Josdy, and we'll be answering all your questions and modern questions in relation to what's going on. We can now discuss all this stuff that we have going on too with the podcast and, of course, with our hobby.